It's the Luke and Pete Show. I'm Pete Donaldson. I'm joined by Mr. Lukey Moore. Lukey Moore! Before we started recording this show, I clicked on a link on Instagram for a shirt, and I bought a shirt off of Instagram.
Right.
That's where I've got to in my life.
What was it about the shirt that you particularly liked? Is it like a re-up of your Scott Sellers one, or?
Not really, no. It's just a daft little summer shirt. But I just thought, oh, that looks quite nice. And I never buy myself clothes, really, unless it's a funny wrestling shirt.
You're a novelty marketer's dream, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Any old tat that you put on. Somebody put a load of, I think it was like 1980s ice cream brands, British ice cream brands on like a Hawaiian shirt. I was like, oh, that looks rather striking. And I was like, no. You're playing into their hands. Stop this, Donaldson. They're playing with your nostalgia.
That's your personal equivalent of why aren't bin men friendly anymore, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I get pulled in every single time. But what we need to do is remember around like the time that like B Sky B were there.
Yeah,
and
that was a golden period for me. I told you because my dad stole a lot of stuff from his factory, and we got
exactly.
Free Sky.
And like just the old brands that you used to see around there, like they used to be like. I think it was like W.H. Smith had a telecommunications connection to the digital, digital television when it first got started. It was like W.H. Smith Digital or something like that. That's how it was proper mad for the longest time.
But did you know in the late 80s that Coca-Cola had the telecommunications division?
That would make sense. I mean, that would. Well, I mean, it wouldn't make sense. Absolutely not. I mean,
because they basically became like they did a deal with like Columbia. I think it's Columbia Pictures, and so it's weird. I'll tell you why I came across this. It's because I saw a TV. Oh, that's what it was. Do you remember the cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters?
Yes, I do.
It was fucking wicked, right? And it was a massive part of my childhood, or so I thought. And so I watched an episode of it on YouTube, and it was it was kind of roughly as I remembered it. But I thought, oh yeah, so I started looking into it, and you get these things where you think, right, that was a massive part of my childhood, right? I cannot imagine being a kid how I was without that TV show, right? And then you look at it and you go, oh, it only ran for a year. Like, how's that possible?
Yes.
Just to me, that was on every week for like 10 years. But anyway, The Real Ghostbusters, I think, only ran in the UK for a year. Anyway, I watched an episode of it. It was fun. I always used to have a real problem with the fact that Slimer was one of the goodies in it. But anyway, that's separate. When I watched it, the end credits, it said like a Coca-Cola production. And I was like, what the fuck?
So The Real Ghostbusters was a Coca-Cola production?
So there was a load of shows in the between about 1986 and 1989 or something that were produced by Coca-Cola, and one of them was Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Right, I don't even remember that. To be honest.
That's one for you and Mark maybe.
Yeah.
One was The Real Ghostbusters. One was The Price Is Right. That started out as a Coca-Cola production.
Nice.
And there's this load of other kind of American ones. And the other one I can remember off the top of my head was a Dennis the Menace adaptation. But
it's the American one?
I just love the idea. Yeah, it must have been. I just love the idea of like that late 80s Reagan, Thatcher financial kind of avarice period where people like Coca-Cola were going, let's make fucking TV shows. We can do it better than me.
It's brilliant.
Nothing has been a more cocaine influenced decision than that. And I find it quite interesting.
We on WrestleMania, our YouTube page, we've sort of turned a bit of a corner viewer wise by featuring like a lot of British wrestling. So turns out there's a massive 50-year-old plus collection of mainly blokes just popping on and going, nobody's talking about Rollerball Rocco from the 1980s and on World of Sport. No, sorry guys. And we watched one called Catweasel. A big, long, drifter-looking Jimmy Savile guy who wrestled for 25 years, something like 20 years longer than the TV show Catweasel was ever on.
It wasn't anything to do with the TV show, right?
Had nothing to do with the show Catweasel.
Cat before IP matters.
Catweasel was very much a show in the late 60s, early 70s, I think, where a magical old wizard, I think, is found in a forest by a young boy. It's all pretty nonsense, to be honest. and gotta keep secrets. Gotta be secret. Can't tell everyone about the magical man. And apparently, so Mark had watched a bit of Catweasel to try and get some information about the wrestling Catweasel, and the magician who basically jumped into a magical fountain like 2,000 years ago, or whatever, was being hunted by the local constabulary, and it's never made clear why he was being hunted. But he befriends a young boy, and the young boy can't tell the rest of the people about it in the 70s. Can't tell the rest of the people because you got to keep it secret. Hanging out with old men, you got to keep it a secret. That was the message that we had in our TV shows.
It always just reminds me of that. I don't know if you've seen it, but I think it went viral about some woman on Facebook posting, "I haven't got a TV license. Do you know what the chances are of me being caught because I haven't really got any money and I'd love to? I still love watching like Antiques Roadshow or whatever, right? It's like quite a sweet thing to post." Yeah. And someone replies saying something like, "Listen, Norma, the BBC couldn't find 34 paedophiles working in their own building for 15 years. I think that you're going to be all right with the episode of the Antiques Roadshow."